Hi, I'm Susan. Welcome to Carpool Crochet, where I share yarn hauls and crocheting projects, works in progress, and all sorts of crafting for busy moms on the go. Today I am reviewing Heartland by Lion Brand. I know what you're thinking. Heartland, hasn't that yarn been out for like 1,000 years? Doesn't everybody know everything about it? Well, maybe, but hear me out. I want to share my stash yarn with you. I want to do reviews on everything I have in stock, all the different colorways I have. Plus, I don't know about you, but I can't buy new yarn every week, and I really want to, but I can't. So this will be a way to just show you what I've got. And, you know, you might have loved this yarn years ago, and you kind of forgot about it because all the new, shiny, wonderful new yarns that are out. And maybe you've only been crocheting for a few months, and you're not aware of all of the classic yarns that might be out there or in the rows and aisles of Michaels, and you just don't know what it's about and how people think about it. So I just thought I would just give my opinion, and I think that I'll do that for lots of different yarn lines that I might have populating my yarn stash. So this is the first one, and I love sharing my yarns with you. So Heartland by Lion Brand. This yarn, as I said, debuted in 2013, so it is a classic. It has been around for a while and it has stood the test of time, which is wonderful because if it's been around that long, if it was around yesterday, it'll probably be around tomorrow. So if you start a project and you need a little bit more yarn, it'll probably be there. If you fall in love with it, you can count on it being there. It might not have the same colors, but I mean, I think a lot of these colors have stuck around as well. This is a 4-weight yarn, and I'll just show you close up. This is Rocky Mountains, which is that colorway, this green, this beautiful green. It's a 4-weight yarn made of 100% premium acrylic. It's available in 34 solid and tweed colorways, and I like that it is widely available. So you can get this at lionbrand.com. You can get it at Michael's. You can get it at Walmart, Amazon, Hirschner's. I'm sure there's lots of different places, other places you can get it as well. So it's, you know, something that you can find, and you don't have to wait for shipping if you don't want to get it online. Usually you can find this at Michael's. The retail price on Lion Brand website is $7.49 a skein. At Michael's is actually $5.99 a skein is their regular price, and always there's coupons and sales and stuff you can wait for to bring that price down a little bit. But I think it is a good value because it's a pretty decent sized skein. The solids have 251 yards or 240 meters per skein, 5 ounces or 142 grams. And the tweed colorways, which I don't have any of the tweeds, have a little bit less yarn, and they also have a little bit of rayon in there, probably for the tweedy bits. So these are all machine washable and machine dryable. I would say gentle cycle, delicate, low heat, just to keep your hard work, everything looking very nice. But that is so convenient, especially for larger projects like, you know, a sweater or a blanket, maybe. The recommended hook size is a 6 millimeter. And if you're wondering about the name of Heartland and some of the names of the colorways, this yarn line is inspired by the beauty of the American landscape and national parks and landmarks. So that is where they have come up with some of the names and I guess the inspiration for some of the shades. So when I first saw this yarn, this was the first one I got here, this Rocky Mountains, because I did my first wearable. Don't know if you saw in the previous video, I had my sweater that I had created. I have it here, just as this will be my big swatch. So this was my first wearable and made out of the Rocky Mountains colorway. And you can see it's got really nice stitch definition and a sheen to it. It's just a beautiful, like foresty green color, maybe like a jade. And you can see as you get close up, there is a lighter color green and then a darker color of yarn in the same color family. And it's twisted together to give that heathered effect. I'll just show you this one that's a little bit, that's attached to my swatch. But this is Conagry which is a silvery blue-green. Very icy color, but you can see really nice shine. In my swatch, I did this pin tuck rose, and this one I used the 6.0 millimeter, 6 millimeter, and I thought it was a little bit, this was a little bit stiff. I thought I mean, it's got an okay drape, but it's a little bit denser. Maybe it's just because of the stitch. And for this one, I used this beautiful Furls. Yeah, this is a 6.0 resin hook. Isn't that gorgeous with the colors of the hook in the light? Oh my gosh. Anyway, it was beautiful, but not the best hook choice for this yarn. I found it a little bit tough to be pulling through. It didn't slide as nicely, and it did give me a little squeaky noise that sometimes can happen with acrylic yarn. It's the hook though, because when I switched on some different colors to the Streamlined Metal hooks by Furls, let's see if you can, I did not have that problem. It was a very, very nice glide and no noise, so it didn't bother me. All right, so that is the Conagry color. Isn't it pretty? It's just so pretty. I can see making a garment out of that for sure, or maybe as part of a granny square. Really nice. Then let's go to Carlsbad Caverns. Yes. Isn't that's so nice. This is kind of more of a steel blue, a medium blue. I think it's almost a little bit to the lilac side of colors. And I want to make sure it's in. You can see how it's like a lighter blue and a darker blue twisted together. All right, so that is Carlsbad Cavern. And my swatch for this is my swatch, and I did a Suzette stitch and some double crochets, kind of make those lines. I think this would be a really pretty stitch pattern for a sweater. Maybe I will design something someday, but I know there's a lot more to designing a sweater than just making a rectangle, but I just think it's so nice. I like this color a lot too. So, all right, the next one. Now this one is like the boldest color, I think, or one of the bolder colors. Most of them are kind of this muted heathers, and this is redwood. I have a full skein here. And on the website, they describe this as a true red. I can see that, but I think in person it leans a little bit orange. So like maybe like a blood orange, or definitely has a coppery side to this colorway, in the light at least. So I think it's beautiful, but this is the one that I think doesn't come across accurately on their website. And this like a reinforced mesh stitch. So you can get it really close. See all the detail in those little knots. But I think that's really, really pretty too. And the next one up, let's do Capital Reef. So that is this pink, delicate pink. And I can see how that can be a reef. It's like almost like a sandy pink. Almost like a light salmon colored. So that is, I just think that the sheen and just the colorways, just it looks elegant. And for this swatch, I did stitch out of a new book I just got, and I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up. But it's got these like triple or double triple crochet, double triples. That's why they're so, these big long stitches, and then maybe some double crochets in between. This could definitely benefit from a little bit of being blocked probably, but what did I call this? Let me look in the book here. The book I got, the step-by-step guide to 200 crochet stitches. I don't know. I just thought I wanted to have some kind of reference book, not a Kindle book, not something online. I wanted to be able to look at it at my desk, get inspired by some stitches that I didn't know about. Where is this? This was, because I know somebody's going to ask me what stitch that is. They call it the track stitch. So this one right here. And this book is nice. It's for the most part, especially in the beginning, like they get like columns, a column for every different stitch, and they have an example of it, and they have a description and a little bit of a tutorial here, video of photo tutorial, a description, and then they have the what do you call them, graph. So I don't think that this was necessarily for beginners. It doesn't, kind of skips over some of the very basic stitches into the more like lacy and more intricate type of stitches. But it's a nice book. It's nicely laid out. And if you like written instructions plus the little graph on the bottom, that's nice. And it's a good way to maybe learn how to read those things too. So the track stitch, that's what this is. Sorry, that was a little tangent. And then we can go to White Sands, yes. And I would not call this white. This is definitely a pale gray, a silver taupe. That's definitely got a nice gleam to it. And in the shadow, it looks a little bit darker and taupier, and then it hits the light really nicely. So for this, I did a teeny tiny granny square, but I was running out of time to do this video for you, so I wanted to do something for every color. So I can see this being a nice way to incorporate a couple of these colors. If you wanted to do granny squares in a blanket or a cardigan, that would look really pretty. The next one is Virgin Islands. I think this is my last. No, I have two more. So let's do this one first. Olympic. This is a deeper blue. And up against Carlsbad Cavern, these would go beautifully together because it looks like they have the same base color, the same, like a light blue. And then this one, the Olympic, has like a darker blue wrapped around it, and this one is lighter blue wrapped around it. So those would look really nice in a project together. The sample I have here is actually a whip of mine. This is the, what is it called? The Agatha reading shawl. And I like this because it squares off at the bottom. It doesn't go down to a point. So it can get wider to kind of wrap around you and not go all the way down into a point. I kind of like that shape better than a triangle. And this is a paid pattern by Ophelia Talks Crochet. She's on YouTube, and she also has a blog, and she sells yarn. And it's just, I think this looks really nice. And it's very soft and cozy. So that is the Olympic colorway. And the very last one is the only one that is not on the Lion brand website anymore. So this one I did get for a deal, I think around Black Friday. So they must have discontinued this color. This is Virgin Islands. And this is another bold, bright color. You can still find this on Amazon and some other places, probably for more money than you should be paying for this yarn. But if you fall in love with the color, understand this turquoise. It definitely is like a Caribbean ocean color, Caribbean sea. It is very pretty. I made this slouch hat from Fiberflux. It's a free pattern on her blog, and it's, you kind of bend this up and you put it on, and I'm not going to put it on, and it droops. It droops, and I don't look great in this. I mean, I kind of look like a Smurf when I put this on my head, but I love the look. I love this like boho vibe that is just not me, but I think is really cute. And this color is very pretty, but you know, maybe one of my kids will wear it, or I'll wear it. Why not? You know, not now, but in the wintertime. So, those are all the colors that I have. So I have quite a few. I do have enough of each one of these to do a good project. So in the future, I'm sure I will be going into my stash and grabbing some of this stuff and doing a nice sweater or a blanket maybe. Okay, so working with the yarn. This yarn was a pleasure to work with. As I said, the only issue I had was working with the resin hook was not my favorite. I moved to the metal hooks. Now, as far as size, I did size up on most of these. I went to a 6.5 for most of these. And then I don't have a 6 in the Furls Streamline. I don't know why, but I don't. And I used the Clover Amour for this one in a 6, which is a recommended. And I mean, I think it's got structure and a little bit of drape. I think I prefer the 6.5, but I'm a little bit of a tight crocheter. So your mileage may vary with that. I would just test out, start out with the hook, the recommended hook of a 6. If you're like, this is too droopy, or this is too dense, make a change, frog it back. Don't go too far before making a change. And, it's all for fun, and you want something that you will eventually use or wear. So you don't want to put too much into it if you don't like it. So, the Clover was good too with the metal, it slid really nicely. The only problem, I started with the Clovers. I loved the Clovers until I realized that they made the furls that are longer for my hand. I like that. I guess I didn't think I had big hands, but this seems so teeny tiny in comparison. It is teeny tiny in comparison. So anyway, I do use these, and I travel with these and the dots hooks I like too. Here's a dots hook too. But I keep the furls at home, and close to home. I don't want to lose them. So this yarn, it glides nicely. It's soft. It's easy on the hands. A consistent thickness. It's not a roving yarn. You don't get caught up with something that's like a fat yarn and then a real skinny yarn. What else about this? So consistent thickness. I didn't come across a lot of factory knots. I don't even know if I came across any during these swatches. And no shedding or fluff when I worked with it, which I wouldn't really expect much from a yarn like this. One negative is that it is a little bit looser woven, and it did have a tendency to split sometimes. I did notice it, but it was not a big deal for me. The finished fabrics are very drapey and have a nice sheen and good stitch definition. I think this yarn would be great for blankets and like fall or winter wearables, because it's a little bit warm. I think it's a cozy yarn, I think. So it's good for that season. Baby items, it's soft enough for babies. It's fairly affordable. It's easy to find, and definitely would buy it again. I think it's a great yarn to keep in your stash because it might not be as exciting as some of the beautiful variegated and self-striping yarns that we see, and you get excited about what color is coming up next, but it makes nice finished projects, and they look elegant and elevated, and make some classic items, I think. Something that won't seem like, if you make a sweater out of this white sands, I mean, it's not going out of style. I mean, this is just a classic neutral, and it's going to be gorgeous for years to come. So I think I would give this, if I was going to rate it, I would think an 8 out of 10. Let me know in the comments if you've used this yarn before. If you like it, what would you rate it? What have you made with it? And if you haven't used it before, would you pick it up now that you've seen some of the colors and what I've worked up with the swatches? So thank you for riding with me through this crochet journey, and I hope you have fun crocheting through the chaos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.